Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so we need to forge ahead a little bit here. So let me show you a few problems we're going to have with the curriculum tab. That's the next one that we need to do. So we have intended learners that works just fine. This was simple enough, even though a little bit complex, but relatively simple compared to what we're going to do in the curriculum table. So let me explain what's going on. So we're going to refer to the real Udemy, which is right here. So we have this curriculum tab. Now this tab is a little bit advanced, to put it mildly. So here is where we put our sections, right? So it's similar to how we add these items here. So you can imagine these as sections. Let's say here's chapter 1. Chapter 2, chapter 3, we can add more and add chapter 3. So this whole system we already did, and we can easily copy it to the next stage. But let me show you here. If I click, wait, there's already this one, right? Let me delete that, unpublished. Okay, okay, there we go. Now we have a clean slate. So what's happening here is that if I click, so there's really just one section on this one, curriculum, right? Not like we have intended learners and all that, we just have one section of it. Then if I click here, then now I can write a title for that section. So for example, I can say introduction. Introduction. There we go. So introduction there, but look at this. It has a second piece of data. What will students be able to do in this section? Okay, learn. Maybe here they'll see what they will learn. Okay, so if I add this section, now there's two pieces of information. Now remember that when we did our other section, we had one piece of information in one of these, but now we have two. So already that presents a bit of a problem, because here we only have one value, right? So we may need a second value. So that's something to remember. So if I now come here and click add section, and there it is, there's the section right there. Of course, I can move it up and down like we did with the others. This code is already there, same as intended learners here. We can move things up and down. Okay. Now, the second thing is if I click edit on this one, right? Click, I can add one more section. See? I can add content actually to this. Let me close this first. If I click here, I can add another one, just the same way I added this. So I can add introduction, then here I can add chapter 1 like this. Okay, what will they learn? Basics. And then add section like this. So that section is added as well. So we have introduction, we have the chapter. So these two are exactly like adding these here. So we are safe. Only that we need two sets of data, the title and the introduction. So there we could just add two columns here, right? I would think, okay, maybe let's just add two columns here for value 1 and value 2. One will be the title, the other one will be the description. Okay, fair enough, we might do that. But it gets even wilder, because if I click here, now I get to add something. Is it a code exercise? Is it a lecture? Is it a quiz? So things start to get a little bit complex. So here I can add maybe a lecture. So this is a lecture. Let's add a title. We'll just call it lecture 1. Okay, so we add that lecture, right? Great. Internet a bit slow. So there's one lecture here. Now within the lecture here, we can add some content, right? Now look at this. I can add either a video, an article, or something. So let's try article here. and I will just say this is an article, right? Let's save that. So I could have added a video here. So there we go. We have an article. With the article, we have description. This is a description. Save, right? On top of that, we can add resources. And here we can either select a file, some source code. Is it source code? This is just to label the type, an external resource, URL with a title, add from the existing library of things I have downloaded, and all that. Or I can just select downloadable file, maybe just add one of these files here, any of these, and we have that upload thingy going on there where it will upload, but clearly my internet sucks at the moment, but you get the idea. So let me just try. Okay, there it is, it's done. So the thing I'm trying to give you an idea of here is that this is very complex. Okay, it just looks so simple, but it actually is quite complex. We need a way to save that data. Now there are two ways we could save this data. One is we could create more tables. So for example, I can create tables for sections like this section here, that section there, then link them with an ID to the lectures, right? Then I can have another table for lectures, all linked to the sections and then linked to the course, right? We can do that. Another way is to use JSON. Now JSON is better in my opinion because we can just put a text column here. So we can put a column that just says text instead of variable character. Then in there we can put JSON data. Now JSON data is variable. This is the advantage of JSON data, is because we can add as many columns as we want. We don't need to add new columns here. We can just add all that data as text within one column. And then when we load it in PHP, then we sort it out and grab each information that we need, each piece, and then recreate this that we are doing here. Now, the only problem is with JSON, I've discovered that it's a bit difficult because I did a previous tutorial, the social website, and there's a part where I used JSON where users, for the likes, for example, and that didn't go very well because most of the errors that viewers got were from the JSON. So when they reach the JSON part, that's when they start having problems. So I'm trying to avoid that in this tutorial. So maybe instead of using JSON, we're just going to use more tables, as many tables as it will take, I guess, to get what we need. Now, if we're to use tables, it's very important that the IDs are always kept intact. So let me show you the problem here. So let's say we have a value, this one, right? There's second item, extra text, right? So let's say I have attached, let's imagine this is a chapter, right? There's a chapter here, and I have another table where the chapter, the rest of the chapter information is saved instead, because there could be multiple lines of data for this one row. So we'll have to save it in another table. That's why we do that. We can't save it here, otherwise we'll keep adding columns to infinity, and that can't be right. So we just move to another table. The same way we've added this course meta, we'll do the same thing again, connect another table for chapters. Now the problem with that is that this ID is never stable. So let's say, for example, this is chapter 1, right? Let's come back here. Let's imagine this is chapter 1. So I'll just write it as chapter 1. Why do I spell like that? Chapter 1. And this one is chapter 2. So we are imagining we are on this level, and let's see it save. So everything is saved. I think I should have put JSON data here to show after saving that things have been saved. I don't know why it doesn't show here, but it should. So I'll try and check that. So the thing here is this. If I go to browse, you'll see that chapter 1 is on ID number 1, chapter 2, ID number 2. So well and good. So it means in another table, we can link this information using the IDs like so. Okay, well and good. Now the issue is, let's imagine I shift these two. So I move chapter 2 to the top. Where have I moved it? Okay, so chapter 2 is at the top. Now remember chapter 2 is ID 2. So let me save this. Come back here. You will notice that things have changed. The IDs have remained intact, but the chapters have swapped. So what will happen is that the information associated with chapter 2 will swap with the information associated with chapter 1, which really is not what we wanted to do. We just wanted to swap the order of these, but keep the data that's inside it intact. So that could be a problem. A way to fix this would be to give another unique ID to each row. So we have a second ID that is unique instead of these IDs here, so that we can swap that one, we can edit it. Now, the problem with that as well is that, wait, is there a problem at all? No, I don't think there's a problem there. So I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing, but I need to think about how to, normally if this was my project, I would just use JSON because I find that easier to do. But for the sake of this tutorial, I have to find a workaround, which I will do. No worries, we're going to use just extra tables so that it's easy for everyone to follow along. Now, with that in mind, let's come back to our code here. So I want to move this code over to a different page. No, actually, I'm not even moving this to a different page. No. I just want to recreate code for the other page as well. So let's come back to, let's see here. I'm looking for this one, intended learners, right? So what I want is to create code for the second, this one, curriculum. So like I said, on curriculum, we just have one item, one section, which is like here. So let's see what is written on this. Start putting together your course by creating sections, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so curriculum, good. So all we need to do now is move everything over to curriculum section. Great. So how do we do that? First things first, when we are loading things, let's say, let's come to course, where is this? Course edit tabs, right? We have the intended learners tab. So I'm just going to grab everything from here, copy this, say new file, paste and save it. So I want to save this as, instead of intended learners, it's just going to be curriculum. So let's go back here. I'm terrible at these spellings, so why not just copy? Wow, inspect. And just grab it from there, right? There we go. So I want to save. Just make sure all these are small letter, because the capitalization is Linux systems are case sensitive, so it's very important you use small letters every time. That way it's easy to know what you're doing when you go to a line. When you're running your thing on Windows, it may seem like it's not a problem because it's not case sensitive, but once you upload it to your live server, you will see that as a problem. So let's save that as curriculum. So here I will point this out and say curriculum like this. And then I will, where does this end? This ends there. So we just need one of these guys, that's all. So one section, so I'm going to delete the other sections up to the button there. So curriculum, and let's add some more info, which we will copy from here. here's what you add content, like click add on the icon to get started, whatever. Let's just copy this and add it. Now, before, let me just add this here. Boom, there we go. And then let me copy the other thingy as well, this other text. I don't even read this text, but let's just copy it because I just want it to be similar. You can type whatever you want here, up to you. Okay, now I want this to load, right? So curriculum there, fine. Let's go to the admin section. And if I come back up here, there's this part where, depending on what's happening, we load the next thing. So I'm just going to duplicate one more of these, Ctrl-Shift-D. And then instead of intended learners, wherever there's this, we're just going to put curriculum. Oh no, oh no. I dread the spelling of curriculum. So what I would do is I'll just copy it. Copy. Come back to there and paste. There we go. So if curriculum, find that curriculum thingy and bring it back. Okay, wrong page. All right, so back here, if I now refresh this, I should get something. And there we go. So intended learners, curriculum. Here you go, blah, 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 blah. So you can retype this into something. Click a plus icon on the left to get started. Let's make it look a bit nicer. Where is this? Let's put a break tag over here. Maybe that will be better. Much better. Then here it can add more, so let's create curriculum, blah blah blah. So I need at least one area here. Actually, no, I don't need an area here. Let me just add padding on this div. Let's say padding bottom. Let's put 2 so that we have some padding at the bottom here. Okay, much better. Should have increased it, maybe 4. Okay, so this is just cosmetic appearances. Okay, there we go. Then we can add a chapter. So add, instead of just add more, we're going to say add chapter. Oh wait, is it a chapter? What is it? Section, right? There we go. So we'll say add section here. So let's say add section, so that we know where we adding a section and a chapter, etc, etc. So let's refresh. So add section right there. Good. Now these things we are referencing here should not be the things we are referencing, because if I tried that, oh wait a minute, it actually works. Look at that. How awesome is that? Pretty cool. But this doesn't look anything like what we want to add. So instead, we'll grab this and say curriculum, add new, right? Where else do we reference? Okay, there we go. Very good. So now things don't work anymore. If I refresh and click add section, won't work because it can't find this item. But that's okay. If we go back to courses view, we'll just duplicate this intended learners and change its name so that whatever we edit in here will be specifically for it. So just grab, because it exists in an entirely separate script tag, so just duplicate the entire script tag all together, Shift D, like this. Where is this? Okay, cool. Then put curriculum here as the name of the variable. Okay, so there's only one section, so we'll need to edit all of this, but we'll do things step by step. Now that I've changed that, if I refresh, it should be able to add stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Chapter 1, chapter 2. Okay, so it's like it's getting information from here, because those are the similar sections there. So let's edit some things to make sure things are not going. This is students learn, so let's change it. Every reference to students learn here should be changed to curriculum. So I'm just pressing Ctrl D to go through all of it like that. Okay, cool. All right. So curriculum, that's good. So let's refresh. That way we don't share data. Good, that is gone as well. Add section doesn't work. What is its beef though? Oh, I think because it's referencing JS curriculum is not being referenced. So let's come back here. So this is now the curriculum section. So everywhere where we have students learn or intended learners, let's change intended learners to to curriculum now, since we are referencing itself. So copy. Let's go to every intended learner underscore. So we don't want to wrap around into this object here. We just want to change within this object below. So let's press Ctrl D to keep going. And let's check that there's more. Ctrl D. Let's see if there's any more. There is. Ctrl D. There's more. And again. A few more. A few more down here. I think that's the last one. Let's paste. Okay, so that should do the trick. Let's refresh. Still things are not working. Great. We can check errors, but I already know what the issues are. Let's change students learn, because that's the only section that exists here, to Ctrl D, Ctrl D. Any references here? No. Let me paste oops, I did something wrong. Let's do this. Ctrl D, Ctrl D. That's about it. And paste. Okay. This is load inputs. Student learn is also here. So let's grab that as well and paste. So now there aren't these other sections in there, so we can remove these if statements here because we'll never actually use them in the curriculum section, which is exactly the same here as well. So let me just remove this one and this one. Make sure you grab, once you grab an opening curly bracket, you grab the closing one as well, because otherwise you have errors. Yeah. Okay, pretty cool. So let's see here. It says define the row and define your section details here. Maybe let's do that. Section details here. I don't know what it writes on the original. Let's see that. If I click on edit and I remove that, what is it? Enter a title, enter learning objective. Okay, so for now we just say enter a title. It's good enough. Same thing here, enter a title. Very good. Okay, good. Where else do we have if statements that are wasting space? Like here, where we have students learn, right? We need curriculum. If section is equal to curriculum, so eventually we will remove this if statement because it's pointless. There's only one section, but for now let's leave it be. Let's remove these others since they do not exist, but we'll remove the if statement later. For now I just want it to function, so I don't want to remove too much and lose track of what I'm removing. So students learn, this one should be replaced with curriculum, of course. And then, but wait, let me change all the references to this. There it is. Let's find more references. There it is. Let's find another reference. That was all. Let's put curriculum. So this is weird. There's curriculum. That's why we're going to remove the second one. But for now, let's leave it be, because it's curriculum here. But we won't need this because we only have one item, so we can put these outside without creating an object. But we'll sort that out later. Let's just remove this and that, like so. Okay, cool. So with all this, I think it should work now. Let's refresh. Let's try to add a section, and there it is. The problem is it's saying define the roles and responsibilities. So I'm guessing this is going to the wrong place. Let me just inspect. This curriculum add, curriculum new. Okay, everything looks, oh, okay. So I see what's going on. Let's come back here. I think it's probably coming from here. So here we should have enter title. Because there are two places where we're adding these. It's here when we add a new one, but also when we are loading, when we refresh the page before we even click the button, that's when the others are working. These ones here, where is that? These ones here. Okay, so should work now. Refresh. Okay, so enter title. We don't even need the example at the beginning. We can just remove that. We just need the placeholder as it is. Let's come back here as well. Let's remove that. Just leave enter title. Wait, I should have removed it in two places. There as well. Great. So let's refresh and add section. So enter title. Okay, pretty good. This is nice. We'll leave these as they are because still with these chapters, these sections, we still need to be able to move them up and down and delete them, etc., etc. So I'm going to leave those as they are. But then once we enter a title, we need to have other items down here, like what we see here, where we have a lecture, we have a description of that lecture, etc., etc. Then we can even add another lecture here, or a quiz, whatever. But I won't add many of these. I'll just show you how to, I'll just put 2 of them. Then you can add as many as you want for the sake of length of tutorial. But for now, this is all good. At least we have an extra thingy here to save. So let me come back to the save section here and let's see if we can successfully save this. So if I go to admin, come back to the saving section where there's course meta. Let's see if this could go well. So there's intended learners tab, and this is where this comes in, right? There's also course landing page. Interesting. Good. Now the thing is, with the intended learners tab, actually things are different with this one and the other, but most of it is going to be similar. So what I shall do, if I try to save right now, nothing will be saved. So let me try this and let's hit save. Okay, so an unknown variable info because it didn't go to the right place. If I check this, I'll see nothing. But if I duplicate this, so let me grab this if statement up to here. Is it? Just to be sure. This looks like plenty, right? Yeah, it's too much. Should have ended it here. So move up the else statement. So just want it right above, just after the else. So Control Shift D. Wait, I hope I didn't press it twice. Okay, I just undid that, Control Shift D. Okay, so right here where there's an if statement, let's lower it. This will work just fine, but just orderly that way. Instead of intended learners, let's put curriculum. Oh, not working. I have lost my curriculum text, so let me just copy it back to here and paste. So curriculum will now pass through here, and now it's a bit of a problem here. We need better organization here. So we're going to change the table a little bit, just so we don't have to, because right now if I try to do this, it's going to disable everything here except these things are from a different tab, so it doesn't really know because they all have the same course ID. So we'll have to fix that. So I need to tell it that only the stuff from curriculum table tab should be affected, but now it's going to disable everything, which is not cool at all. But it will still work. So I'll show you this. We'll add the data type, the value, insert, and course saved successfully. This is supposed to work. So why isn't it echoing when it's done? Course saved successfully. Okay, but let me show you that it can save just by doing this. Just by copying that and changing that to curriculum, it will save. So let's come back. It should save though. I'm not sure if it will, but let's try. Some title, and let's save. Okay, let's come back here and check what has happened. So everything was disabled except some title, and things were replaced here, which is not nice but the data type is curriculum. So the idea is great, but we're replacing from a different tab. So we need an extra column to identify the tab name as well. That should be important. Okay, so if I come back here, one of them is missing, chapter 2, which was replaced to add an item for this guy. And here also, we are not getting our money's worth. We're not getting back the item. So a few problems to fix here. But let's do those in the next video.